Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. It's currently 5 o'clock. It's time to stream, man. Making sure everything's set up correctly on my end. I messed with some of my tabs right before the stream kicked off, and I'm still trying to fix that, but I hope you're all having a great day, and if not, we get a little bit time here to ourselves to do something that we love. I forgot to correct. Oh, is it gonna break? Yep, okay. Called it. I forgot to correct my camera because it's like slightly tilted because I messed with it the other day. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get started. I'm tired, guys. I'm tired. Busy day. Today was Monday. I don't know how that makes sense, but it does. Today was Monday. I'm gonna have a late night tonight. My teacher does this thing where she only assigns us work in the like she basically only gives us a day to do work. Um that'd be fine if it was a manageable amount of work, but she's like assigning us pivotal, very important and time consuming tasks. Things that should not be rushed in a small window of time for what I understand to be very little reason. Which sucks. But we'll still try our best. And the whole reason I'm so salty about it is I could have a night where we stream, I do a little bit of homework, and then we're done. I go to bed on at a reasonable hour. Late nights make me very upset. Sometimes I'm willing to do them. Uh, like I'll work on stream stuff or like YouTube stuff very late into the night. I'm okay with that. But that's of my own volition in a way. But now, hey, we have Kolu. I'm gonna forget all about this in like 10 minutes. We're gonna chillax. And that's the beauty of streaming. Or streaming art, I guess I should say, more precisely. Art and drawing. It's like this won't matter so soon. And I think that's just a testament to how not deep it is. It is not that deep. I'm now kind of in the groove with lesson 6 as well. Like, sure, there's difficult things, and I make mistakes and I learn from them. But, like, I don't know. I'm in that process now. Of rinse and repeat, make mistakes, correct them, continue. The ball's rolling. I'm sure it's tough, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Which is typically how things go. However, despite how calm I will be from just chilling out and stream, My mic slowly drooping will always rage bait me. It's so annoying. Part of me wants to just take a drill and drill through the mount, locking into place permanently. I know that's a bad idea. Oh. But just putting like a dowel through it, like drilling a hole. So it's not really a permanent choice, but just sticking a dowel through there, and if I ever need to move it, I can. Part of me was even thinking of like 3D printing a solution for this. Which honestly may be possible. It's not really load bearing. Totally. Now I wouldn't be able to 3D print much looking at it. Or else it'd be like a huge print, and I'm not doing all that. Yet to find a good 3D print provider for me. People upcharge so much, which I partially I can understand. Just like, as a person who has printed with the same materials, I know the actual cost of those things and material costs. So, the service costs are just absurd. And time, I guess, but or I don't know what costs those are. I'm not sure if service cost is a thing, but you know what I mean. At least there's no convenience fees, whatever those are. Hmm. Need to consolidate these two. Oof, that's really off. Just gonna go right here and call it. Moving my mic once again. Made a big adjustment. Let's see if that actually fixes things. Yikes. There goes my minor axis. The ink right there keeps like slowing me down. I know it always sounds like a cop out, but it's true. Decent ellipses, but I don't know. I feel like I'm doing them weird. We're gonna do a little bit more. Even though it's not strictly necessary for today. I still want that extra warm up. Yeah, definitely not enough ghosting right there. I'm all over the place, man. Come on, let's wake up. Once again, stopped by the page. It keeps happening. I'm not fond of it. Alrighty, not my best warm up. Let's add one up here. But we'll survive. So, we will go to BRB. You guys know the drill. Come back in about 2 minutes and continue on our stapler construction. So, be right back, everybody. Cool, cool, we're back. But as the first Kulu, we listen to this one so often. It's great, but like, come on. We listen to that one too often. Let's get all set up here. So today, we are going to be divvying up our orthos. We have a lot of very difficult, very weird numbers this time. Last time we were kind of blessed with this fact that it was a very proportionally nice object, but now with a stapler we have some crazy small, like a 48th, which I'm not sure if it's a good idea yet, or some crazy weird, like I think I have a 5/7 in there. Yeah. So this will be definitely a an experiment of how bad is it if we have these weird numbers, right? I hear warnings against it, and warnings are great, especially for beginners like me. But we ought to still examine why warnings like these exist in the first place. So, like usual, I'm going to start with the side. I guess technically I would consider this the side. The side ortho. I'd consider this the top. I'd consider this the front. And I was gonna say I like going horizontal to vertical, but let's see. Oh man, those 24ths are gonna be wicked. Yeah, I guess we'll start with the 24th. I guess. Yeah. We'll start with the 24th. Divvy that up into our 48ths. Let's see, how many inches was this? Did I do 8 inches? So what's a 48th? What is 8 over 48? Which is probably some ridiculous number. That is... Oh, that's greater... It's a... It's a 0.166 repeating. So that's bigger than an 8th. Huh. But then we're going to go to a 48th, so that's going to be around a 16th-ish. So the smallest tick on these rulers. But that's not as bad as I thought it would be. So let's work on getting the 24th here. I pulled up PureF earlier. Let's make sure everything's loaded correctly. Cool it is. So yeah, we're going to be pursuing the 24th right here. We already have all this set up, so now we just have to go the remaining stuff. I would prefer not to mess this up as much as last time, so let's work backwards of what we need. We want this dot, which requires this green line and this green line, which is obtained from this blue line, which is a 4th, and this green line, which is a 4th. And so we get the this one, this line right here, this vertical 4th, or yeah, vertical 4th, I guess we could call it, through this diagonal right here. That's how we get it. And then we get this blue line, which is on the interior, so not this outside line, by drawing from here to here, which makes sense. So let's do that real quick. We're going to draw our first line from here to here, second line from here to here. And then from there, I'm going to just retrace my steps. Then from this 4th, we're going to draw here to the corner, from the top to that 4th. And then where they intersect should be a 24th. And then from there, we'll cut it in half, and that'll give us our 48th, and we'll also mirror the 24th. And that will give us the 2 24ths, or the 12th, which we need for these 3. And then we mirror all of those to over here. Part of me actually... How do we want to do this? So let's think about how we'll be constructing this in 3D space once we get to that stage. Because everything exists on the inside, so we'll probably need to mirror most of the construction to the other face of the box. So we'll be doing everything we do here on this plane and the back plane, maybe ignoring some of the back stuff here. Oh, I never chose the size of the gap. Oh, wait, I guess it's going to be the same size as this. And it's just going to be divided in half. So that's the gap. I'll signal that's the gap by doing this. There you go. And we could care about the thickness of the interior of the stapler right here, but that's not going to be shown at all. And in fact, I'm not even sure if this is going to be shown, so we're not going to mark that until we absolutely have to. So I'm going to like finish the ortho, get to the construction, get to that point, and then if we need to show it, we will. But yeah, anyways. So for you guys looking, like this is what it's going to hopefully look like on the page. And this point right here, we're going to have to find on this plane of the box over here to get that point. It's going to be the intersection between, this line, and then 2 vertical lines. And those will give us 2 points to draw at the top of this too. Yeah. Yeah. And so yeah, my choice I have to make here is, do I want to do all the mess right here and project it over here, or all the mess right here and project it over here? I'd rather do it over here because I want this to be more accurate. Because projection, you lose a little bit of accuracy, and I don't want to be doing all of that mess on this face and then projecting it. Like that just wouldn't make sense. So yeah, we'll do the bulk of the work up here. So it's going to make it a bit messier, but I think that's going to be a good choice in the end. Yeah. Foresight, guys. I say all of this and I mess up like 12 times. That's a conservative number. I mess up like 100 times. Alrighty, so like I said, we're going to be divvying this up into our fourths. We want this diagonal first. There we go. This is definitely a pin you want to hold vertically. Nice. And then we want this diagonal right here. And like I said at the start, we did the math. We're going to be looking at something that's a little bit more. It's actually going to be 3/16-ish, right? How much is 3 divided by 16? I just need my phone open with the calculator ready. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit less than 3/16. Nice. Alrighty, so these intersect right here and right here. So we have the choice when actually constructing this to mirror everything. So now we go like over here, and now we have 2 point, or no, that wouldn't help us. Never mind, controller. That's not applicable yet. So yeah, now we want to get this vertical. Feel like I just did something wrong. I didn't, but I feel like I did. I don't know why that's stressing me out. I guess my brain turned off for a second. And I came back and I was like, oh shoot, did I just do the right line? So yeah, now we have these 2/4, and we had our sanity check because this and this indicate a fourth. And now we're gonna draw, like on step 5, top left to bottom right of this, and then top right to left right here. And that somehow, I don't understand how, will give us our first 24th. How does that work? We've divided it into fourths. And I think we divide each one into sixths. Yes, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. Six, yep, okay. Nice. So that intersection indicates a 24th. We'll sanity check this. That's about 3/8, so 0.375. And 8 divided by 24 is 0.3, repeating. So yeah, we got there. Nice. So that marks our first 24th. Oh, I just realized it's almost Valentine's Day. Man, February's gone by way too fast. Like, scary fast. January was January. To me, that month goes very slowly, but man, February just slow the heck down. Cool. Now we can use. Let's we'll divvy up first the 48th. Then we'll do the 12th. So we'll do cross right here. Nice. Nice. There's our 48th. Now we'll get that 12th. Or 2 24ths, depending on how annoying you are. So I like doing it this way, and then doing it with the other side of the ruler. There's always some error with projection. Generally, when it's closer like this, you get less of an error, as we see. I like to average them out and then use the orthogonal, ruler. Make sure we're all good. Nice, nice. There we go. We have our first 3 big measurements, a 48th, a 24th, and a 12th. I guess we'll go for a 6th now, but first we're going to project these across so we have them over here. But also, I'm going to be right back. We're going to do a short BRB, guys. I apologize. We're going to pause the timer, everything. Yeah. Apologies about that. I said like back. I was trying to say we're back. Anyways, let's return to this. So yeah, like I said, we're going to mirror this, and then we'll worry about the more interesting measurements. I feel like we could do something with this 5/8. 5/8 and the half. I don't trust those measurements necessarily. We may need to remeasure. But we know these are correct, and I'm pretty confident in the 1/6. So yeah, here, like I said, we're going to be introducing a lot of error with how far this is. I think I'm going to employ like a clockwork strategy right here. Like slowly rotating the ruler around to collect all of those points. Oh my gosh. See what I mean? This one, it's like pointing at the corner. How does that even work? Jeez. You exquisite manho. Okay, let's calm down with those a little bit. I'm doing okay. Very, very busy, very long day, but we're alive and that's what matters. How are you doing? Your head hurts and you can't sleep? Oh no. We've been good about drinking water and all that. Take any medicine? We have a ground truth here. We know it's about 3/16 where it should be. So the game is trying to get it closer to that. So ironically, this is closest. It's kind of like the average of these two. I'm sorry to hear your head's hurting though. Hopefully these streams have a history of putting people to sleep. So I hope we can at least serve that for you today. We have several things to help us right here. We have the mirroring. We have actually physically measuring it, which is a bit of a cheat. And we could also do the projection right here. Uh, so we have three ways to check it. Do a little clockwork. Man, I'm tired. Oof. So now we'll do the projection. And nothing happened. Sorry to hear. We'll take some medicine, maybe some tea. Tea always helps my headaches. Ugh, I'm yawning, man. What are we drawing? We're continuing the work on drawing our stapler. It's difficult, requires a lot of effort, but we got it. Yeah, we were about a little bit less than 3/8. That seems like a good measurement. Nice. Then once again, we could also use mirroring and projection for this one, using that line. So we'll continue to do that to reinforce that habit and to reduce error. Nice. Seems pretty even. Cool, cool. So those are our major ones right here. Nothing too crazy just yet. And then we have our 6th, which I'll do, and then we're going to double check the 9/16ths and the 5/8. So, 6th. Do I have that here? I do not. I have a 12th and a 24th, so we're kind of stacking them up. Let's get that 6th in here. Ooh, and I forgot how much I like the 6th because it just makes sense. Or it's like easy to memorize with the diamond thing. We're going to be doing, once again, a vertical 6th. We want the first 6th, which actually doesn't seem totally real. See if it's 8 inches. And say the peak happens about 1.5 inches in. That's about right. We'll do a 6th. Oh wait, we actually can do a 6th very easily. We can mentally like guess it because it's gonna be, this is a 12th, a 48th, a 24th, a 12th. Well, the next one mirrored is gonna be a 6th. Just gonna be that. Does that seem correct? Does that feel correct? Sure, why not? Not really. That's a quarter, that's a 4th right there. I swore I'd put my phone out so I can query, see, 8 divided by 6. It's 1.3. I said it was near 1.5, so that kind of makes sense. That's a good enough guesstimation to satisfy me. It's a bit closer than I want, but yeah. So let's do it. If we can mirror, or if we could project, then why even do all that complicated stuff in the first place? Right? Because to make this, I would need this diagonal and this diagonal. So it gives us this. So we already have it by virtue of creating our 24th. Because remember, like I said, we create a 4th and then divide it into 24ths. Divide into 6ths, sorry. Oh, but it's just an accident, I think. Oh, no. I almost messed it up. It would be this line right here. We technically don't need it, but we'll be accurate. And it basically runs through that point. Maybe that's to say something, but alrighty, so now we'll use our clockwork method. And since we're projecting rather close to the original point, we're going to maintain a lot of our accuracy. You stop slouching. Nice. So yeah, we satisfied that point, but also the projected points. Nice. So there's our 6th. Now, like I said, we're going to measure and just double check that the corner and start right here is an 1/8 long. Let's see. Oh no, it's a 16th. Wait, 9/16. 9/16 versus 10/16. So it's only a 16th difference. Is this actually a 16th? A 16th of 6 inches. It's going to be about 3/8. And that feels like 3/8. Okay, so that's a star. Okay, maybe it's actually an eighth. Oh, I forgot I could just do this, and it's like 12 times more accurate. 12 times? Very specific number, Cav. I could close my eyes and pretend that it's airplanes in the night sky, but also 3/8. So now the game is it in the right spot? And it seems to start at 3 and I forget it if I don't write it down. 3 and that's a 16th, so that's 9/16 of an inch. Which is funny because we have 9/16 here. And 9/16 of 6 inches is 3.375. And we placed ours at 9/16 when 375 is 3/8 or 6/16. So we're about 3/16 off. .48. Wait. 3/16? Yeah, okay. Plus point. Just double checking out my math. Yeah, okay. So we're about 3/16 off, too far to the right. Or too far to the left. We're too close. If we were to shift everything by, let's say, an eighth, that would make this 3/4, and an eighth is 2/16, 11/16. Did I say 2/8 or an eighth? Eighth, yeah, because it was 3/16 off. So this is a good bridge. So that gives us 3/4 and 11/16. Yeah, okay. I can get behind that. So let's do 3/4. We can easily get 3/4 like this, and I guess we kind of just have to brute force getting 11/16. So we'd have 3/4. We divide in half. That would give us 5/8, and we divide that in half. That would give us 11/16. You'd be so good at mental math after this after this lesson. So there's our fourth. Now we will divide this in half to get our 5/8. we'll divide that in half to get our 11/16. Let's double check. 3/4. Yeah, 3/4, which is also 6/8. This is 5/8. Yep, okay. Which is also 10/16. So moving 1/16 up would give us 11/16 right here. Nice. Alrighty, and that I think is all of them, with only one stray vertical, which I think is pretty impressive. Or stray, just like, unused. I'm gonna take a sip of water, and then we're gonna start with the horizontal ones, which is gonna be a bit messier. We have less room, and they're still pretty precise, especially for that 30-second up there, which is ridiculous. Anyways, be right back. Why are my FPS dropping? Interesting. I probably have Docker running in the background or something. Okay. I've gotten lazy about cleaning up all my homework before I stream because that could be lagging the stream. Cool. So, yeah, some really, really, really weird numbers over here now that I'm really looking at it. An eighth and a 16th, which is pretty standard. A half, very standard. And then 2/3, a bit weird. 5/8, a little bit weirder. And then 5/7 in a 30-second. That's impressive. I say we start with the weirdest one, 5/7. I probably said on that stream, oh, future Kavel's gonna hate me for this. Let's get a 7th in here. Oh, this already looks really weird. Alrighty, so let's do a trace back. We're gonna be doing this horizontally as well. So like this. So we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/7 right here. To get that, we use a diagonal between the halfway point and then whatever this diagonal is. It looks like we divide it into thirds. So we start with 2 horizontals. Do we need both of them? Yes, to get that. So yeah, we start with, or diagonals. Hey, what's up, Bryce? Doing good. We're chilling. Very, very calm stream tonight. We have these two, and then we find where they intersect that diagonals. We create vertical lines. We draw between them, and then the intersection between that and the vertical line. Cool. Ugh, this can get so messy. Thankfully, we already have one vertical, or one diagonal. Just need to recreate that over here. How's your day going so far, Rise? Nice. There's your next diagonal. Don't worry about it, man. I'm not stressing. There's absolutely no expectation of attendance for these streams. And plus, I mean, dude, you're working. Come on. And you're a Prime sub, right? So like you're already giving money to the channel. You're a mod. You're a good friend. Don't worry about it, man. I don't judge. I don't judge like that. I judge. I'm a judgy person. Not really. But I'll never blame anyone for having a job or having more priorities than a random dude stream on the internet. Re-enlisted for 3 more years in the Navy. Wow. What spurred on this decision, if I may ask? Wow, look how all of these converged right here. Isn't that impressive? That's actually our next point that we need to make a diagonal for. What are the odds? What's going on there? That's weird. You see one diagonal will run through both of these. Interesting. It's always such a pain when it comes to ballpoints to clean them off. Ugh. There we go. Pretty much have to. I'd like to get your master's. Wow. What's up, Naya? What inspired you to get your master's? Gotcha. You do keep your streak up. I don't mean this in a mean way, Naya, but I don't like. I just told Rise, I don't count attendance. Don't worry about keeping a streak. If you don't like, show up to the stream if you feel like hanging out. Never feel like an obligation that you have to show up, right? Like, I don't want people to feel like they're obliged to come here. That'd be pretty gross. Why not get my master's? Money, more school. It's tough. It's a lot of work. And plenty of the jobs I'm applying to right now don't really need it too much. That's my 2 cents on the master's debate. You know, Twitch just makes streak systems to get you to show up and use their app and to watch their ads, right? Like, I'm not trying to downplay your support at all, but like, don't let them win, right? If you don't feel like showing up to stream, no worries, right? I think the streak that matters most, and this is very cliche, but only I would say, or anyone would say this, is drawing. Draw every day. Draw as much as you want. Draw as much as you like. Have a drawing streak. Grad school for business. Ah, gotcha. Let's see. For this one, we want to draw. What's with that line? Yeah, who cares? This diagonal. Top to bottom. Here to here. Look at that. It passes right through the middle. Which means it's symmetric. Yay. Now with that, we want to get the intersection between this and the diagonal for that 7th right here. Boom, right here. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want that. And that is, yeah, this line and that diagonal. So this diagonal and that line right here. It's 5/7. That doesn't seem correct. Yes, it does. Hydrate will do. True, I need to go live again. I lost motivation. Live again, sorry, my bad. Huge. Well, also, like, why do you stream? Right? I'm gonna take a sip of water while you maybe respond to that. I stream to keep a catalog of my progress, to as a form of accountability, and to encourage other people to do the same. None of that depends on the external, opinion of others if they show up to stream or not. Sure, I mean, of course, encouraging other people to draw would be awesome if 100 people showed up and I encouraged 100 people to draw, right? Um, but maybe just the videos merely being out there will remind them. So only stream if you know, if it fits with your goals. If it doesn't, if it's a chore, don't worry about it. Because then you not only have to be an artist, but you have to also be a streamer. And that just takes up more time. I wouldn't say streaming as a hobby is a necessarily difficult thing, but it's yet another thing you have to worry about, right? For people to see your art more. Interesting. So to you, is it worth the time? Not calling it a hassle per se, but is it worth the time that you have to invest into streaming, even though you've lost motivation for it? This line, I almost messed it up. And why do you want to see people to see your art more for commissions? There's our 7th. Noticed. Interesting. So you think getting noticed, and I'm not like I'm not, I'm asking for the sake of just like being curious. I'm not being incredulous or anything. Um, Getting noticed is important to you. This doesn't feel like a 5th, a 5/7, and it's kind of tripping me out. But I guess 4/7 would be right here. And I'm not saying the next number. Okay, let's do an 8th now. Trying to see if there's a good way of divvying this up. I really don't think there is. We have this 4th right here, which we could either mirror to decrease the amount of lines. Oh, well, we'll need to create a 4th anyways. Art in the real world is being very important. Okay. If you if no one like there you had a curse on you and no one ever saw your art, would you still draw? Huge. Okay. Okay, there's our 4th, and now we just need to divvy that into an 8th and a 16th. And then we need our 5/8 up here, which will actually be quite easy because we could just cut into right there, and that'll give us 1, 2, 3. Hi. 1, 2, 3. Uh, hmm. What's up? Am I crazy? What's up? Wait, yeah. 5/8. 5/8 is above a half. What? Did I mean 5/16? Because that would make sense. Let's see, the top is at about 1 and 0.25 out of 1.5. Multiply that by 4, we get 5 over 4 plus 2 sixths. 5 sixths is a 5 to 6 ratio. Or I guess the difference, so 0.25 over 1.5 is 4 over 6, or 2/3. Eh? Oh, sorry, 1/6. Sorry. If you're having a regular conversation and someone just says my grandma's dead, would you laugh? It really depends on the context. It totally depends on the context. There's a lot more than just words in those kind of scenarios. Because like, there's that, that's the very, very popular clip of I Show Speed where the kid says, my mom's kind of homeless. And first of all, kind of is funny as hell, right? But the context of them playing Fortnite and the kid doing that voice and like laughing, like, if they're legitimately serious about it, it could still be like, if everyone's dead quiet and they say that, and everyone's like kind of in a giggly mood before, then yeah, right? So it just depends. But like I could also imagine other times like it's a late night with friends, and everyone kind of goes quiet, everyone's tired, and then they just randomly drop some like heavy stuff. I could also imagine that, and that I wouldn't find like I wouldn't laugh at that. I'm so glad we corrected that. Is 5/16 close to a sixth? No, because a sixth is 0.1 is a point. Hi. Yeah, 1/6 repeating. 166 repeating. And 3 just doesn't seem right. A sixth? Oh, so it's 2 inches tall. That's 0.5 compared to 2, which is 1/8. So now going back to 5/16, that's 2.58, which is just off. Oh wait, no, I'm measuring all of this wrong, dude. That's 0.75. It's 0.75 over 2, which multiply that by 3, that's 1.5 over 6. Alrighty, well, firstly, I wouldn't say this is the best stream to ask about, I don't know, stuff like that. But yeah, stuff happens, right? Um, Context is important. I think there's very little that a sincere apology can't fix, though. Stuff happens. Yeah, as long as the other person's like, both of you are rational, that requires you admitting some fault, if not the fault, right? Um, you of course can't control other people's emotions, but at the same time, you can greatly influence them. Hmm. 3/12 equal to 1/4. And that's 5/16 is close to that. So I think we're sticking with, we could do a fourth. That'd make my life feel a lot easier. Is that really a fourth? No. It can't be a fourth. What math? What am I doing? I'm doing some weird stuff, guys. 0.75 over 2. I was trying to do the mental math, but I suck at that, so we're just gonna... That's a 3/8 ratio. Which is very close to 5/16. But I'm just going to be lazy and we're just going to divvy it up right here. So that's going to be... Maybe instead of 5/8, I meant to write that. 3/8. I'm not sure if this pen is dying or it's just like that compared to this pen that's really dark. Who knows? Let's get that 3/8 in here. There we go. Cool. Let's divvy up this 8th and 16th and then call it for the night. Maybe a little bit earlier tonight, just because I have a lot of work to do still, so. Well, I think you should, you don't have to apologize to me, right? Like, you don't have to tell me, sorry, you feel bad. No, you're fine, you're fine. Eighth, there we go. Let's get the 16th going now. Actually, I need the 16th and the 8th for the entire width. Same thing with the 5/7, which I did. And the... Do I need that for anything? I do. We'll extend that all the way across. Right here. There we go. I don't know. Oof, maybe we are running out of ink. Really thinned out in the middle there. Unfortunate. Well, we're gonna call it there, everybody. We have the first part of our ortho done. I'm gonna leave like the fun game of connecting things to next stream. So cool. Thank you. Oh goodness, just knocked over my water bottle. Alrighty. Well, thank you, everybody. You're fine. We're gonna wrap it up there. Thank you very much for joining us, Naya, and Rise and Dio earlier. We're gonna be streaming probably every day this week. We'll see. Maybe a day will require me to take off. We'll see. Trying to get as many days in, all that good